There's a story that caught our attention. Actually, although the story, based on what we've heard so far, is that it might have been a church skit or something, but it was about a man who was seen complaining about the fact that his wife, or the lady he trained, sent to school, probably even helped her with her first job, was being presented in church to marry somebody else. And he came up. Now, there's a possibility it was a skit in church, but the reason why we're talking about it is because it happens, and it's reality of many people, where a man does all he can to take a young lady to school, help her through school, maybe because she's having financial issues or she comes from a very poor background. And then she gets a fantastic job, maybe through his connections, gets a new job, meets new people, she's on a different level, and then she meets somebody else who she truly loves and wants to settle down with the person. And then the man feels, being that he feels betrayed because there is somebody who he thought he was going to have a long-term relationship with. This went viral and was really exciting to talk about because we know that it has happened several times. We're going to link it up with another story, which Tokwe had to brief on. What was the other story again that we're going to add to this?
Okay, no, the other story is, I think we had also taken that story about the Jacka thing that happens where a man feels he's gone abroad, and then the wife joins him. He paves the way for her to get there, and then when she gets there, because of how things are done abroad, she either leaves him, you know. He, on the one hand, feels, I spent all this money on you, I brought you abroad, and now because you're making some money, you've reported me to the authorities, I don't have a house anymore, we're getting a divorce. And so this part of the story was like a second part to say, there were stories, what you heard is just one part. This other part is, I was made to give up my salary. Everything that I earned, I'll hand it over to him. I wasn't treated right. So there's a reason why some people behave that way. It's not that it just happens that a woman is a witch and turns around all of a sudden. Usually there's also something that the man may have been doing to cause that turnaround.
So taking that story and putting them together, the thing is, when I sacrifice to put you through school, when I sacrifice to pay your tickets abroad, to get you to visa, to get you settled in, sometimes a man feels like there has to be something I must see you physically give back to me. Not just you or presence or the fact that you're my wife or my girlfriend, but there's got to be something of you that I retain or I have some kind of control over. So it's my own insurance that what I have invested would not go away. Not because I don't trust you, but I just need something. So the guy that sends you to school expects you to either maybe pay him a percentage of your salary, or marry him eventually, or stay with him. The one that takes you abroad expects you to at least, whatever revenue, whatever money you earn, we pass it on, and we, you know, so maybe that's the thinking when these men are having. But let me come to you. What are your thoughts? Because a lot of women are going through this.
Beautiful thinking. Unfortunately, it's not written down. And one of the things that we have realized that make our relationships, you know, turn sour sometimes is a lot of assumptions are going on. People are not having clear conversations. People are not spelling things out. You feel, those are not conversations we should have. You should know. You should just know. It's a no-brainer. You should know. I'm your husband. I'm your wife. You should know. These are the things you're supposed to do. But you forget that not everybody would understand. You have different backgrounds. You know, when two people come together, they're coming from two different places, two different experiences, two different childhood, and what you're thinking is a no-brainer is something that somebody needs to teach the second person to do because it's not what he or she is used to. So it would have been beautiful because I've seen people who went through this, especially the first part where the guy took this girl, they were dating. It usually starts from dating. Then you now realize that they don't have soap to bath in their house. They don't have food to eat in their house. She cannot pay her school fees. So as much as she cannot pay for WAEC, cannot pay for JAM, and you now start catering for this girl and her family with the hopes that, okay, we're in a relationship, definitely we're working towards marriage. Because if you want to know if your man is in love with you, is where his money is. His money is where his heart is. He will not drop shishi if he's not feeling you. So when he's not dropping and giving you so much of himself,
his insurance
you already
that you love
know.
him back?
Exactly.
What's his insurance that you love him back?
When he's dropping those things.
Yes.
He doesn't have that. But in his head, because you are in a relationship with him, he's just giving you all of himself and you're not giving anything back. You are collecting because at that point you are disadvantaged. So in his head, when you now get to a point where you are advantaged, you will give back. and we now find that it's not working, because sometimes women date these men because of what they can get from them, because of where they are. So I had someone in the university who was very close to me. I remember we attended the same secondary school, and her parents were really, really poor, right? So the guy she was involved with at the time was doing all of the spending for her, to catering to her, family members, taking care of the siblings and all of that. And everybody just thought these two were going to get married. We got into university now. Before I could hear Jack Robinson, they had broken up. And the guy was crying. Everybody just knows this guy, that these two people are it. And I was asking, I said, Auntie, what happened? He said, I don't really, he didn't go to school. I don't really, he didn't. She met somebody else who was educated, who had, the chiseled and the spec. And he left this person. Now, this person was so heartbroken that he relocated from the place to another place. I don't know where he is, and I'm sure he must have married and all of that. But then it got me thinking. So you were not really into this. You were just in it.
But BC, let me pause you.
For what you would benefit.
BC, let me pause you there. You see, I love this angle you took it to, because it goes back to the sincerity that I don't know if that's how to couch it. A lot of women are entering relationships for different reasons. Many of them are not entering because of love. This woman or this young girl could be somebody, right now I need a support system. I need a sponsor. I'm in university, my parents are poor, I can't be sleeping around. So if this guy looks responsible and he's giving me stuff, I will stay with him. Now, if I now graduate from school and I feel that, because I know somebody whose story is very similar to this, this guy was never the kind of person she would ever be with. But he was there. Financially, physically, and emotionally. She now graduated. She went into the banking system, met people that she felt that, okay, these guys are at my level. The guy was still there. Unfortunately for her, she didn't meet anybody that was willing to marry her. So in her mind, she settled for this guy that was there. So in his own mind, we've been doing this for 20 years, we've been there for a long time. But in her mind, I'm settling, because I wouldn't have. Well, fast forward, she now meets somebody else in future who now ticks her boxes, and then she's having an affair. So it goes back to the foundation of some of these things.
What I would say is that with love relationships comes a lot of risk. And as you said something about not writing it down. That's the thing. You just trust each other when it comes to relationships.
Love is
except for Igbo people who have now done prenuptial agreements and all sorts of things, because their eyes have seen, but really, most of the time you meet someone, you click, there's chemistry, you talk about your dreams, and it seems to align, and you feel that you're on your journey somewhere. This story that you've just painted is not a woman's only story. Men also find themselves in situations like that. I always make reference to the military, because I grew up, surrounded by military families, and I saw a lot of that. Young soldiers growing up with barely anything. They meet their young girlfriend, who barely educated as well, and they're happy. All of a sudden, there's a coup, they make him a governor. And see, all of a sudden, you're not the spec. He needs someone that will come out and be the first lady, and you're not the one. So...
And you've seen this happen.
Yes. And one thing with the military is that the young soldier is going for one training or the other. He's building his... Meanwhile, Barack wife is just there making sure that there's food on the table. She's struggling. It's not as if she's a bad woman. It's just that their lives, they've grown apart. One person has become this sophisticated, well-educated, well-traveled person, and this person has been left in the barracks with 5 children, can barely speak English, she can't move around freely in his new circle. And then you see in Nigeria, they're able to marry a second or a third wife. But women, when women find themselves in this situation, it's either they divorce or they're having secret affairs. But the truth is, life happens. Even in marriages, people grow apart. Even in marriages, values, dreams change, even in marriages. So that's why people celebrate years of being together and having the same vision in 20, 25 years, because they know that it takes a lot of work to be able to be on the same, to have the same
of life.
Yes, at the same time. So what you will do really is just hope that the person that you end up with is the person that is meant for you forever. And if not, understand that there's a risk of a heartbreak, betrayal, but that does not mean the end of your life. It means you can also try again and with someone, and even be better than the other person that you were with.
So now let's take it to the story, the one that Mariam talked about the one that went abroad. So this woman, according to the story, the woman was accused of getting her husband arrested, I believe, right? Got her husband arrested. That was the story.
No, it was...
She left.
She left him.
Yes.
Then she now told us the reason why she left was because he made her provide everything, everything she earned to give, because she's been collecting it even before they left Nigeria, right? You're now in the US or Canada, and you expect that your wife would also continue to give you that money. Is that wishful thinking?
So let me give my opinion on the initial conversation that has been ongoing, in the fact that I feel very sad for my Igbo brothers who have suffered. They've suffered major heartbreak on the table of, I will train you through school, you are my wife. Because I grew up among them. I grew up in Mautu. My mom's shop was in Lagos Island, Mushi. To the left, to the right, they would look at this, our wife from GSS 3, and be paying school fees all through university with the expectation that when she grows up, I will marry her. And this exposes the woman to a more
enlightened lifestyle.
A more enlightened lifestyle, and she doesn't want to marry our wife. She doesn't want to marry our husband, the one with the accent, the one that is in Lagos Island, in Idumota selling, and it's no longer, I can't do that anymore. And many of them have been heartbroken like that. Spent a lot of money raising people. It's with expectation. You had entered an unwritten contract, and you walk out because there's no legal, you didn't have it signed. I think it's unfair, and many women still do. Unfair to the man, because many women still do this today.
Well, we ask women to look for happiness, do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
So should I because of society, I want to stay with the man who paid my way through school, who did all this for me, because society expects me to stay with him, or should I go seek for my happiness?
And we've had stories where the women would even offer to pay back. And it's like that, I wasn't paying you. I wasn't paying for your school fee because I wanted you to pay me back. It wasn't an investment. I paid because I liked you and I wanted to marry you.
I
don't like you. So we now have that conversation of having, when you know, as a young girl, I was already in that space where there was, my parents did not need you to pay school fees, but our wife was already happening. So it was a conversation that I knew I cannot marry this person. So I'm not even going to collect anything from somebody I know I cannot marry. What I'm saying is some women know they cannot marry this market man. And they would walk in through that relationship.
That believe that this was their man.
If he was innocent and he was not, you didn't plan it, I can understand. But there are many women that knew they cannot marry this person, but they don't have any option.
I don't agree.
So you will take care of me. I'm talking about, this is Lagos. This is my own reality. I know babes that will tell you, I cannot marry this guy, but make you pay my school fees.
Yeah.
You should take care of my family.
Okay, let me take this call
I have
from
the
Wale.
exposure, and after, like, so I can at least get through school. If I'm not dating him, I will not go through school. So
let me take this call from Wale. Good morning. Thanks for calling, Wale.
Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
You are looking pretty.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, life itself is a gamble. And in every facet of life, expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
So, you could come across such things. All you need to do, prepare your mind. You don't have to, base everything totally on that thing you are doing. Even as a married man, tomorrow my wife may decide to say, okay, I'm no longer interested. So I should have that at the back of my mind, that if that happens, I should prepare my mind towards that, which I don't pray for such. But if it happens, what can I do? Nothing. So we should always, prepare our mind for unexpected.
Yeah.
Even life is a gamble. We are not sure of tomorrow. We are not sure of the next minute.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Wale. I think that's where I was going to, because I wanted us to have the conversation in this way, where lots of people are in homes and relationships that they're not totally happy in, but they're having difficulty to live. So in that case, you're an example, right? She probably didn't have mind. But there are some people that actually believe that I would marry you because society makes us can compromise. Okay, fine, he's not tall, but he has a good head on his shoulders. He's educated. Okay, he's not my. He's a good person. He's responsible. Let me just marry. He's a good guy. And then you go all in. But then as you get exposure, as you go and other taller, educated, exactly also have their head on their shoulders, who are now more attractive to you, start talking to you, you now feel, okay, you know what?
Evolve out of the relationship.
Can we be realistic about this thing?
There is no evolve out of it. I'm just saying, when you evolve out of that, thank you for the word.
Yeah.
Now, because our society in 2024 encourages women to seek happiness first. Do what makes you happy. Don't care about what anybody says. You want to live and find your happiness.
And then everybody's blaming
says,
you.
It's you.
Okay, I think the worst thing that can happen to anybody is to stay in a relationship out of pity. You will never be happy. And I know, because my area where I grew up to, a lot of Igbo boys, that's their modus operandi. In fact, girls now started targeting, make a fine Igbo boyfriend who could lift me from this poverty, right? I know that women know what they want. They may not know to the extent of how men calculate their own. Because there's a way men, when they are ready to settle down, there's a way they do their calculations. We are the ones that fall in love and do, I love him, he speaks accent and all of that. When a man is ready, he's calculating what are her strengths, what are her... there's a way they do their calculation. We may not calculate... They're more rational, fantastic. We may not go to that extent of rationality, but we know from the aesthetics what we want. Every woman has an idea of what would make me happy, what will tickle my fancy, right? But if they don't get it at the time because of the pressure from home and how they want to, they settle in the relationship. And even when you come to schools and you see girls, very intelligent, speaking good English, well packaged and everything, and the boy that comes to drop them in the weekends is one pot-belly guy with slippers and, short knicker or shorts, and then he's blowing some grammar that is off. But you see that the girls don't mind. Now, for some girls, probably because of their background and what they see or how they envisage marriage, they too don't mind. It doesn't matter. He's my udogu, anyhow he is, I will touch him up, right? But some people, as they start evolving, they grow out of that. They are now in circles where I can't even present him. I'm not happy. We had one where that time that we were singing, we had one that, one time the man comes and the man likes to talk, the man will be blowing, be shooting. Because she was our friend, we like the guy, consign us. That's who she has chosen, and she really loves him. We supported him. He will be blowing that thing. We are gisting with him like we did not hear the offs going, right? But that was what she wanted, and for whatever reason. But some people grow out. Now, the problem I see with all this giving so much of yourself, giving from an empty place when you have not filled yourself up, is at the end of the day, if anything happens, you will be crying more than you're supposed to cry because you have given to the point it now seems that the person had stolen from you. In your giving, I love this person, I want to cherish this person, you must also give yourself. So you must give from a place where you are full. As you are paying for her to go to school and you want to marry an educated person, there's nothing stopping you from equipping yourself. Take some courses, small courses. Take some English classes, polish it. Still prepare yourself, because the person you are preparing, when she becomes bigger than you, it takes the grace of God and humility to want to still stay in that space with you. But they don't reason it that way. They just feel, once I have the money, right? And you know how our marriages are. When the man has the money and the woman is not so empowered, they take nonsense. When they travel abroad, the woman becomes empowered. They don't want to take anything that is not pleasing to them. So you yourself that you're training somebody else, do a bit of training yourself. Yeah. Oh, you have a call.
Sorry, it's been holding for a while. Not serious. Sorry for keeping you. I'm so sorry. He was
sorry.
Sorry about
so
that.
I'm of the opinion that, and I agree, to a large extent, we must grow together, and you give, you take. But I feel strongly that women, a lot of us, I said we're in the era of selfishness, honestly, and I agree, because I'm in that same space and I'm selfish about my life. I love myself. Somebody will say it is selfish, but I love myself enough to want to invest in myself and want my happiness. That's the era we are in. And because we are in that era, it's easy to overlook kindness and say, I'm going for my spec, I had settled. But I want to also say that marriage is only work because you put in the effort to make it work. I was watching the movie and he said, people divorce, they put so much energy into fighting and getting divorced. If they put that energy into fighting for the marriage would have worked. Yeah. So any human being can improve. I speak to growth all the time. That man that is not speaking good English can decide to. I've seen men that will say, You see this one, Amo, you're looking very fine today. Nah, madam, madam say make her dey dress now, make her no wear short again. So some men actually are willing to, if you are putting that effort. Of course, I'm not saying that those ones that are not, there are categories that are not. But we walk away because we are seeing one ideal guy somewhere. So one guy that you think has the 20% that you're looking for. So you are looking at that one, you're missing out on the 80% you have inside your house, and you'll be going to pay that 20% there. Sometimes if you just add the 20 outside and help to upgrade the one inside, you will have almost 100% within the house.
Have 85%.
Yes,
you've not answered my question. Let me take to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, Ibrahim. Thanks
That's
for calling.
selfish. That one.
Good morning, man.
Good morning. You're good.
Good morning. Me and my wife were the one that won.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I never knew that false. Good morning, man.
Good morning. We can't hear you very well. Go ahead.
Actually, concerning relationship, I think I would like to talk to you that when you
Line is not very clear, Ibrahim. I'm so sorry. I couldn't hear you. You see, the reason I was saying that there are some girls that they're from poor homes. And you understand the way they look or the way they talk is just because of where they're coming from. But when they are polished,
They shine.
hey, when you polish, I know one girl like that. And she recently got married. And I know that this girl, when they finish polishing her, we've seen a few that have married some wealthy men. You see their old pictures. And you see how they look. They're miles apart. So the point is that after that polishing, now, if the man, unfortunately, is not at that level, so why doesn't society allow a grown woman, a fully grown adult woman, to say, you know what, I can leave? I know society doesn't really encourage marriages, but I love marriage. I love the morality of staying together. I love the whole union. But I am 45 years old. I am 50 years old, and I feel that I'm done with this. Great guy, fantastic. He's paid my school fees, done everything. I'm happy, but you know what? At this moment, I want to do something else. I want to move on. Why do we frown at that?
Well, we will frown at it because you've been in a marriage and it seems like you use this person to get out of where you are. But let's just even talk about that. These things happen normally, naturally. Nigerians, we say this thing, life no balance. Do you understand? So there's something that money does, whether we like it or not. It puts you in circles you otherwise wouldn't have gotten to because you did not have the money and someone provided that. And now you find yourself in these circles. And because of the way you look, the way you talk, it comes with something. But the thing is, you're also forgetting that some of these men that have a lot of money, they have a very large amount of money. Sometimes it seems like unending. Many of the women that we're talking about, polished and what, don't want to leave. Because how many of those billionaires do you have scattered around? You are unlikely to be moving from a billionaire's house into another billionaire's house. Do you understand? So even these women may realize if I leave, that the billions are not coming with me. I would rather just stay with this person and figure him out. I will be the face of the family, and then whatever needs to be done, we'll come and we'll deal with it. But it's not a... Women have also left marriages like that, and they would leave maybe to something even smaller. They've now built confidence and everything, and as long as they're happy. Usually they may leave a man that feels betrayed, or a man that may think good riddance and get someone he feels is a younger, better, hotter, more educated version of you. I mean, we're human beings. We just do things until we find what eventually suits us.
Let me take Osaz, our final call. Good morning, Osaz. Thanks for calling from Ikorodu.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Nice to get that first. This is the situation right now. Madam Temito says she's speaking something very, very nice. The other lady, I don't understand what she's saying. She's not even right at all. What do you think about sacrifice? What do you think about sacrifice? Let's say, even if the guy is not well put together or whatever, then he has to take care of the lady, to take care of her, to take care of her education. What about marrying her? When he's not taking care of the lady, he's taking care of the lady out of pity. When now she's not all blessed up, she's not educated, she can't take care of the guy so she can't marry the guy out of pity. You understand? So what about sacrifice? Sacrifice for your man. Sacrifice for your man and take care of him.
Thank you very much. Sounds like something Nima would have said, sacrifice. So yes, there are things that you like, there are things that you would love to have, but because marriage is about sacrifice, part of what marriage is about, where you have to, for the sake of for the factors involved, children, the community you've reached, you can sacrifice possibly your happiness. And happiness now these days is relative. You know, it depends on what you call happiness.
So if you get to a point
yeah.
where you have married the person, we can begin to be talking about sacrifice. Some of these issues where they have strained you till you finish university, they don't even get to the point of marriage. So because as the person is hitting final year or just got a job, she's meeting the person that her heart desires and she goes. And these people are heartbroken. So the advice I would give to everybody, whether men or women, men over the years will always, like the example that she just gave now, where this person suddenly becomes a governor and then realizes that you don't meet up to, they do it all the time. And nobody cuts their head off. So women too, if the broken English is no longer working for you and you want to take a walk, that's fantastic. But I think men and women need to understand that not every relationship will lead to marriage. And it's very important that you're constantly asking the right questions to be sure two of you are on the same page. Because we run with assumptions, thinking that we're on the same page with this partner. And this person you can't be dating somebody who you'll be wishing that you are going to be like you're going to be the mother of my children. And the person is praying that your wife will take care of you. Your wife, that person has removed herself from being your wife. You're not listening. You're not listening. So listen and be on the same page.
We need to wrap up
it's
with
easier.
this, but I think really in a nutshell, let's be responsible, let's be true, and be kind, and let's not be too selfish. And
let's be happy too.
Let's be happy too. So whatever decision you make as an adult,
own it.
Either you're the receiving end of the breakup, let's take it as adults and take it with your full chest. That's what I was saying.